All right, hi everyone, and welcome back to Product Training with Blue Triangle. Today we're going to talk about automated reports. In the reports section of Blue Triangle, you can go ahead and set up and schedule these reports to be automatically delivered to you. And today we'll discuss how you can do that and also what kinds of reports are available and what kind of information they offer. All right, so my name is Mark, and I'm the support manager here at Blue Triangle, and we do these training sessions each week about various topics related to web performance, analytics, and ultimately how to use Blue Triangle to solve problems. So let's go ahead and get started. So for today's agenda, we're going to start off and just talk about what are the automated reports in Blue Triangle. We'll get into how to get to them in the portal and how the page actually works, and that'll take us into how we can actually set one of these up, how to configure the recipients, the schedule, and etc. And then we'll talk about what types of reports are actually available. So obviously we have RUM and synthetic, and underneath RUM there's two sections, business and performance. There's actually business and marketing focused reports, as well as site performance reports. And with synthetic, there's also those performance reports, and additionally there are reports tailored to synthetic data. So there's a great report called the Script Performance and Availability Report, and that shows all sorts of data about the uptime of the measured pages, as well as the content size of those pages, and how that is changing over time. And the majority of our training today is going to be live in Blue Triangle, so we're only going to go through a couple of quick slides here in the beginning, and then we're going to be walking through all of these points in the portal. And we'll finish up with some Q&A and help answer any questions that you guys have. All right, so what are the reports in Blue Triangle? Basically, you can schedule reports to be delivered to you via email every X number of hours, days, or weeks. And you can also generate these on demand. So if I back up, you can actually get to the reports page, which is what this table shows here. You can get there by going into, if you click the gear, you can get into the settings menu. And in the settings menu, there's a section called report, and there's a few options to get over to the reports page in there. And that'll take you to something that looks like this, although it may be empty if you haven't created any reports yet. But you'll be prompted to go ahead and create a report, and you'll get a wizard that'll take you through that. And we'll be doing this live here in just a few minutes. And what I wanted to mention is this generate report button over here to the right. This table, each row is a report configuration, and if you click the generate report button, that instantly kicks off the process to build and deliver your report. And when it arrives, it'll show up in an email that looks a lot like this. This link here is going to take you to that report, and below you'll be able to see some quick details on what kind of report it is and what site it's for, as well as the filter options you've applied. So another cool thing about these reports is you're able to add more than one recipient. So you don't have to just create these for yourself. You can create them for other folks on your team, or you can send them to a distribution group. We do have notification groups in Blue Triangle. Currently, the notification groups are not implemented in the reports section. However, you can specify a comma-separated list of emails to send these to. And we'll be getting into that as we go through this wizard with you live. And the last thing I'll mention is the link here that you'll get in the email, and that takes you to the report. This is a shareable public link. You don't need Blue Triangle access to see it. So this is great for maybe you'd like to send one of these reports over to a different department in your organization where this data might be relevant, but they don't necessarily have access to Blue Triangle. So these reports are great for sharing that way. All right. So what kind of reports are there? In the wizard, we're going to see a good selection of report options. Over here is really a condensed, generalized list of what you can do. You'll notice many of them can be created with RUM or synthetic data. But just to run down the list here, for real user, like I mentioned before, there's business focused reports and there's site performance reports. So under the business, we have things like bounce rate and bounce and exit analysis. We also have a few reports related to conversion rate, conversions over time, conversion rate by onload. So that would be the conversion curve that you see on the revenue opportunity page. And then things like lost revenue, which shows you your revenue opportunity. In this site performance section, we have things like performance broken out by device, browser, region, or country. We have a really cool report. If you're familiar with the Performance Path dashboard widget, we have something essentially the same as that, but it's bundled up into a static report. And then we have tag and domain performance. So you can think about things like our aggregate waterfall or the tag governance inventory analysis page. That kind of data can be found in some of these reports related to resource timings data, object level detail by domain. The 30-day domain report is a popular one. I think I'll go ahead and once we get into the portal live, I'll probably use that report as a demo. So a lot of great stuff that you can do. Now that's RUM, and then with synthetic, you get a lot of the same options in terms of resource data and performance reports. You can get performance by agent location. You can get it by device. You can also get the aggregate waterfall in the object or domain level view. And then the script performance and availability report is a great one for synthetic. So that's a good one as well. All right, so I think that's enough for the slides. I'm going to just take you right into Blue Triangle Live. All right, here we are. So I'm logged in as a demo user. I'm actually an account admin demo user, and I'll explain why that might actually be important pretty soon. They have a little more privileges on the reports page. But to start off, like I mentioned, you can get to the reports page by going into the settings and administration. And then you can either search up here, you can just find the report section, and we're just going to click this top link here to go to the reports. Now, when you first get to the page, you won't have any reports created, so it's going to look just like this, and it's going to prompt you to create a report. So before I start jumping around all over the place, what we're going to do today while we're in here is go ahead and set up. We'll walk through the report creation wizard. We'll probably set up maybe 2 or 3 reports, and then we're going to talk about some more details on how the page works. There's actually a reports log as well. So that's kind of the plan and direction here. So let's go ahead and create our first report. Step 1 is choose the data type. So for this example, I'm going to choose real user. As you saw in the slides, we have the business section. You can actually fold this down what it's asking you to do here is to just click one of these options. I'm going to fold the business down, and we're going to click one of these performance options. So I think the most straightforward report is probably one of these top few performance reports. I'm going to choose this performance report. Cool thing is you can see a little thumbnail of what the report is going to look like before you choose it. If you want some more information about what data is actually available in the report, all you got to do is click this See Example button, and that's going to take you over to a help article with some documentation and more details on what's available in the report. So with the performance report, we can kind of just scroll through here. We see we're going to get this trend graph at the top. Then we'll see some details about the filtering we have selected, and then we'll have the same data in a table below. All right, so we're going to choose that, and the third step is to configure the name and the email frequency and the time period for the report. So we're going to go ahead and say Mark's demo performance, RUM performance. So this is my time zone, and we can set this report up to show the past X number of hours or days. We'll just look at the last 24 hours here, the last one day. Then you're going to enter the email addresses that you'd like to have this report delivered to. So I'm just going to put in mine for now. You can also put in additional emails by just separating them with commas. I actually have another email called Mark2, but just for the sake of example, that's what that would look like. The email frequency is how often you're going to get this report delivered. So generally you're going to want to probably align this with your report time period. So we'll get a report each day because we're looking back. Our report time period is looking back one day. You can actually customize the subject line as well by entering something in here, but we'll just leave that blank to take the default subject line as it says there. Another pretty interesting option here is to include a screenshot of the report in the email. So maybe you just want to get a quick glance at this report right in your email client. You don't want to have to click on a link to go see it. You can turn this on. I'm going to actually just turn that off so we can get the full experience. So the next and final step in the report creation wizard is to choose the filter options. So if you'd like to set this report up to only be for a particular traffic segment or a particular set of page names, you can filter on devices. These filters obviously work just the same as anywhere else in Blue Triangle. So we'll go ahead and just create this without any filtering applied. All right, and there it is. So when you create it, you'll see it, the configuration row appear right here in this table. And before I create another report, I'm going to just go ahead and so this is scheduled to run and deliver an email to you each day. Generally, you'll get the email sometime around between 4 and 10 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're not comfortable with that, if you need to get the report right now, you can actually, like I mentioned, click the Generate Report button. So when you do that, you get this little message here. It says we'll send you an email within 20 minutes. So the performance report is actually pretty quick. So if I get an email before I'm done walking through, I'll go ahead and pull that up and show it to you. So another few things about this page that I'd like to point out. So we'll start over here with these. So you can actually edit the report with the wizard, or there's a classic editor as well. The pencil icon here is the classic editor. All of the configuration is just listed out here in a more kind of advanced view You can actually save as new if you'd like to. Maybe you're creating multiple reports. You just want to change maybe one setting, like maybe you want to change the page name. You can create one and then go into the edit and just save as, make your page name change and then save as new. So you can also edit here with the wizard. This is a little wand icon. And, we've seen this before. It's the exact same as the create. You can also save as new or just save this one in the wizard as well. All right, so I'm going to create one more report, and let's do one for synthetic. We'll create a script performance and availability report. And again, like I mentioned, if you have any questions about these reports, definitely go in and click the See Example option. We've put together some good documentation about what kind of data will show up in these reports. So we're going to choose script, performance, and availability. We're going to say Mark's demo synthetic script perf and availability. You'll notice some of these reports have, due to the way they are designed, they're going to have static time periods. So naturally, this script performance and availability report is always just going to look back the last 7 days. But we're going to go ahead and plug in our email. I think 1 day is fine for this, and we'll leave the subject line blank. Let's have the screenshot for this one. So next, you can choose one of your scripts, or you can leave that blank to see the report for all of your scripts. We're going to go ahead and create that. And now you see the second row show up in the table. All right, and I actually just got the email not too long ago for the performance report. So let's go ahead and just open that up. Let me pop it up here. Much like the screenshot I showed you in the slides, it's pretty straightforward. You get a link and your report details and filtering information. So when you click this link, it's actually going to, when you hit that link, you're going to be taken to this public report. And another cool thing about our reports is most of them are interactive. So much like elsewhere in the portal, you're able to, turn on and off some of these metrics. You can export this data to a CSV. You can do sorting on the table and so on. All right, so going back over to the reports page, the next thing I'll point out is the reports log. So if we go over here, we'll be able to see the log of all of the created and delivered reports. So you can tell I've been doing a little poking around in the reports here. I've created a variety of these recently. And as you can see, the most recent one here is that real user, you can see it's my Mark's demo run performance report. So from here, you can actually view the report. So this is going to just take you right over to that same link that the email sent you to. You can also, from this screen, you can also edit that report. So another cool thing. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward log here. You can search on the table, you can sort by any of these columns, and you can also export it. So going back over to the reports configuration screen, a couple more things I'd like to point out. If you want to disable, maybe you have 9 or 10 of these, and you don't want to keep hitting this trash can, you can actually check this box over here to the left, and you can go up to bulk actions. You can either enable, disable, or delete these. So let's just disable my second one there. And that's what that will look like. Up here, another thing I'll point out is we can see how many reports have been created in your account and are active versus the amount allotted. So in our demo account right now, we have 500 reports that we're allowed to create. So clearly we're well under the limit here with just 2. And then the last thing is, this is only going to apply for account admins. Everyone else is just going to be able to see this one table here. But if you're an account admin, you'll be able to go in and manage all of the reports set up in your account. So you can do that by going over to the Site tab. The User tab just shows the reports that you've created yourself. The Site tab is going to have everything. The Site tab works the same way as the User tab. You get all of the options to edit or generate a report, delete them. You can bulk manage these if you need to enable or disable some. So I think that's all I had for the reports page, the configuration, kind of getting around the page, the user versus the Site tab, and how to manage these reports. I think I promised you guys earlier that I would open up the 30-day domain report. So let me just do that now. I'm gonna snag that. Yeah, so I'll just take 2 minutes and just walk you guys through what this report is, because I know it's a fairly popular one. So the 30-day domain report at a high level is going to show you how all the domains on your site and how they're performing over the last 7 days and how that compares to the 30-day average. So at the top we have some high-level performance metrics. These are the page-level metrics. So we can see things like the number of page views over the last 7 days, the time to interactive, and then these dotted lines are actually the 30-day average for the various metrics over this time period. So we can say, what's our time to interactive look like compared to over the last 7 days versus the 30-day average for the time to interactive. So we can see it's actually a little higher than the 30-day average. Now, if you switch the tab to the performance graph with only resource timings collected, this is going to show you the same thing, but this graph is only going to show you the page views where there were also resource timings collected. So what that means is not all page views will be collecting this resource data as it is sampled to a statistically significant amount. But if you want to do an apples to apples comparison between the resource data and this performance data above, this is what you're going to want to look at, because this can differ. In other words, this is a subset of all measurements, and these two can differ depending on various factors. So moving down the page, we have our average resource load time by domain. So our demo site has 47 domains on it, as you can see here in this the table. And each of the columns, the first several columns are going to give you the daily average performance for each of these domains. And when you see some that are red and some that are green, this is compared to this 30-day average column. So if it's performing slower than the 30-day average, it's going to appear red. And I believe the threshold is 15% slower or 15% faster. And if it's faster, it'll show as green. Otherwise, it'll just show without coloring. So that's the 30-day average. And then the percentage of elements in the 30-day average, this gives you an idea of where all the content is coming from. So which domains are serving up the most files or actual resources on your site. And it looks like sports.com with 38% of those elements is taking the lead there. And then another column we have over here is the elements per page, and that is also a 30-day average to give you more context about that. Now, moving down the page, we're going to see the exact same domain level and object level detail aggregate waterfall graphs that you'll see on the aggregate waterfall page in Blue Triangle. You can play around with these milestones by clicking on and off the metrics and the legend here. You can switch to the object level detail view there as well. So that's kind of a quick overview of the 30-day domain report. And like I mentioned, in the future, I think we'll do another training that goes a little more in depth on each of these reports, what kind of data they have, and maybe talk about some use cases for analytics reports and how each of our reports might be able to satisfy a particular use case. All right, so I'm going to open back up the slides and we'll jump over to questions. All right, it looks like we do have a couple of questions, so I'll go ahead and get started with those. So the first one is, how do I unsubscribe from a report? So this is a good question, and it actually comes up from time to time. So let me just pull up an example email and kind of walk through this. So when you get one of these reports, you'll probably notice there isn't an unsubscribe button necessarily. So it seems like the use case is somebody added you to a report and you're not particularly interested in it, or it's getting sent to you far too often. What you can do in this case, if you are an account admin, you can go into Blue Triangle in the report management, and you can go over to the site tab, and you can just search and figure out where this report has your email on it, and you can go ahead and remove yourself from that. Now, if you're not an account admin, you're going to have to reach out to the admin in your account, and they'll be able to manage that from here. All right. The next question I see, can I send this report to others without Blue Triangle access? Yeah, great question. And the answer is absolutely. So this link here is fully public. You don't need to be logged into Blue Triangle to access it. So being that it's public, you'll just want to make sure that you only send it to the folks you want to share it with, right? So I think that was our last question. So with that, guys, we appreciate your time. And if you do have any more questions, we're always happy to speak with you offline. So feel free to reach out to us anytime. You can reach us at any of these email addresses, and you can also reach us in support anytime by clicking to submit a request in our help center, and that is help.bluetriangle.com. And for more information about Blue Triangle product training, like how to watch previous sessions or how to register for upcoming ones, definitely check out our help center. And again, that's help.bluetriangle.com. And when you're there, you can just click the product training section. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you next time. Have a great day.